It's starting to look like the Rollin 60s guys are already turning on each other behind bars. Word is they're throwing each other under the bus left and right, and now there's even a wild video making the rounds that's got people saying they allegedly might actually be taking each other out. Literally.
Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby got into a fight in their cell, and one of them had to roll it up and leave.
That's funny. Very close. Very close. They both did get into a fight, but other people was involved in the fight too.
Let's get into it. The boiling situation. Just a few days back, word started buzzing that some of the Rollin 60s crew who recently got arrested, especially Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby, were dropped off the radar. The whispers get louder when both of their partners hopped on a viral phone call saying they'd been trying to reach them but were getting nothing back.
Hey mama, did you hear anything from them? Are you for real? So Bricc hasn't called you either? What the heck is going on?
Tension was definitely in the air, and just when it started feeling like something serious might have gone down, there was finally a little sigh of relief. Luce Cannon eventually reached out to his partner and laid out what really went down. According to him, there'd been a fight inside jail involving him, Bricc Baby, and some other Rollin 60s members.
Yeah, I got in a fight after court and they took me to the hole, so...
Apparently, it all kicked off after court, where Luce was confronted by someone he called his op. Things escalated fast and got wild. The fight got broken up at the time, but it didn't end there.
Basically, I walked in after court, and it was like, what's up, why you keep calling the homie this and this and this? I'm like, calling who, saying what? And they was like, I said, the names, right? I'm like, so what? What's going on? What you want to do, right? I got off on them, boom, bam, and I'm like, take that with you, sweetheart.
Once they were all back in their cell, they ended up locked in with the same guys they'd clashed with in court, so you can imagine how that played out. Tempers flared, fists flew, and the whole thing spiraled until the facility went into full lockdown. It was serious.
Got into it.
Who?
Blue.
Huh?
Blue, same Big U, me and Bricc.
Luce didn't drop specific names during the call, but that didn't stop folks from piecing things together. A lot of people believe that this whole drama was Luce and Bricc versus Big U and a few other Rollin 60s members. But then again, some think it might have been Luke, Bricc, and Big U actually on the same side, squaring up against a common enemy. That theory gained some traction when talks started floating around that all three were sharing a cell, but there are still questions. Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby got caught up in Operation Drawdown, a major federal sweep aimed at bringing down the Rollin 60s neighborhood Crips. Bricc was picked up in LA around March 19, 2025, while Luce got arrested out in Vegas before being shipped back to LA to face charges tied to the same case.
So recently, everybody know that Big U, Luce Cannon, and everybody got arrested. But Luce Cannon, he was arrested in, I think he was in Las Vegas, and he just got extradited back to Los Angeles, and he's locked up.
Early in the convo, Luce mentioned that he and Bricc Baby had been tight since their arrest. Not only that, but they've also been in the same cell, which makes the whole thing even more complicated. And funny enough, Bricc Baby even jumped on the call for a bit and chimed in about what went down.
They trying to put a J in the line, man. I mean, we ain't in too deep with no J Reed, man. We right here turned up, beat up, man. It ain't no, man. You know what I mean?
Now, with all the noise and pressure surrounding the case, fans are starting to think Luce and Bricc might be keeping some things close to the chest. Some people are even saying the reason Bricc is still moving how he is could be because he's not as deep in the RICO case as Big U and Luce. Brick's facing a gun charge, which, compared to a full-on RICO, is light work. And for a bit of context, folks think this whole mess might have been stirred up even more by the things Luce and Bricc said on the No Jumper podcast, especially the part where Luce hinted that Big U might have had a heads up about Nipsey Hussle's murder.
My statement is Nipsey wasn't his brother. Nipsey wasn't like his son. He keeps claiming that and putting that energy in the air when he didn't with Nipsey and Nipsey didn't with him.
That allegation alone sparked serious reactions, and Big U ended up filing a cease and desist against the show. According to Adam22, the feds are now digging into that episode, demanding to see the letter as part of their case against Big U.
I think they questioned No Jumper over a cease and desist that Big U sent to Adam, because he had that guy Luce Cannon on who was saying that Big U set up Nipsey to get killed.
Rollin 60s Takedown. By now, it's no news that Big U and a chunk of the Rollin 60s crew have been scooped up in a massive federal takedown. The feds dropped the heavy-hitting case, charging over a dozen of them, including Eugene Big U Henley himself, with a laundry list of serious crimes. Henley, who once played a big role in launching Nipsey Hussle's career, is now being painted as the boss of what authorities are calling a mafia-style operation, allegedly involving everything from extortion and fraud to human trafficking and even murder. RW's murder case. So, according to the feds, after years of stacking up evidence, they're now pointing straight at Henley for the cold-blooded kidnapping and execution of a young rapper named Rayshawn Williams. Supposedly, it all went down over some disrespect. The story is wild. Rayshawn was shot in the face and left in the Las Vegas desert. Thing is, Rayshawn was signed to Big U's unique music. He wasn't just some random artist. He was actively working on a project with one of the label's producers. Big U himself had arranged the whole Vegas setup, Airbnb, travel, studio time. The plan was simple: lay down one song a day. But once Rayshawn touched down in Vegas on January 19th, stuff started going sideways. He missed a couple of studio sessions, but told one of Big U's people he'd make up for it by going extra hard the next day. Instead of that, though, he hit the booth and recorded an unreleased diss track, one the cops later found and believe was aimed directly at Big U.
I just want the dough, what I'm worried about. Doing all that talking, he's the one to clout, so I'ma pull up to his crib.
That track made its way to Big U. Between that and the missed sessions, things started heating up. Just a couple of days later, on January 23rd, Big U and his guy Sylvester allegedly drove from LA to Vegas. They got there around 2 a.m. on January 24th. That night, Big U shows up at the Airbnb and confronts Rayshawn about not showing up to the studio. Rayshawn says he didn't have a ride. A friend of his was there too, heard the whole convo. Later that night around 9 p.m., Big U pulls up at the studio. Rayshawn comes through around 11, records until about midnight. Big U bounces at 12:37 a.m. in a gray sedan. But here's where things get sketchy. That gray sedan they drove out in suddenly vanished. Big U's phone went untraceable just before 1 a.m. with its last ping right by the studio. Then at 1:13 a.m., cameras catch that same sedan pulling up to the Airbnb. Rayshawn walks out with a suitcase, throws it into the trunk, gets in, and that's the last time anyone ever saw him alive. He didn't come back. The Airbnb still had a day left, and his flight wasn't until the next day, but he left like he wasn't planning on returning. Big U's phones didn't start pinging again until 2:15 a.m. By 2:30, he's back at the studio, alone, same car, soaked in sweat.
When this alleged murder of the rapper happened that they're blaming Big U for, I guess they're saying that you turned off his phone, you know, like before he went, and then he turned it back on when he got back to the studio. That's evidence against him as well.
Man,
he's doing
listen,
that.
the
you know?
feds got so much technology that we don't even know.
He tells the security guy he just got back from the gym. Fast forward to around 9 a.m. Rayshawn's body is found in a ditch off I-15. Multiple gunshot wounds. Looked like he'd been dragged.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway.
DNA on his ankle wasn't a perfect match, but it didn't clear Big U either. Then things got even weirder. A couple days later, Big U has all studio equipment yanked and wipes the surveillance footage. He even had the security guard step out while it was happening. Investigators think that footage might have caught a fight between Big U and Rayshawn the night everything went down. On January 27th, Rayshawn's aunt called Big U after hearing what happened. He told her he hadn't seen or heard from Rayshawn. She also told cops that Big U used to check in with her weekly, but after that call, she never heard from him again. And here's the thing, everyone close to Rayshawn, from family to friends, all point to the same person. They all believe Big U had something to do with his death. Other cases. And that's not all. On top of the murder, Henley's also being accused of ordering a hit on a weed shop in LA that stopped paying him extortion money. And it doesn't even stop there. He's allegedly been scamming everyone from legit businesses to celebs and athletes, even folks like Draymond Green and Shaq, convincing them to donate to his charities, only to allegedly pocket the money for himself.
Henley and his associates allegedly extorted professional athletes and musicians, including NBA star Draymond Green and Lakers legend Shaquille O'Neal, persuading them to donate to his charities and later allegedly transferring the money to his personal bank accounts.
The feds also claim Henley took advantage of LA's Gang Reduction and Youth Development, or GRYD program, basically siphoning off money meant to help the community. His nonprofit, Developing Options, reportedly raked in $2.35 million from the city over 5 years.
He used that goodwill to benefit himself. He diverted money from that charity and lined his own pockets with it.
After all that came out, a spokesperson from Mayor Karen Bass's office said the city doesn't play when it comes to fraud. They claimed they've tightened up oversight on programs like GRYD in recent years, and that despite the accusations, the program overall has helped cut down on gang violence. Before turning himself in, Big U hit social media to clap back at the claims. He didn't exactly address the murder allegations, but he brushed off the entire case as bullcrap and blamed it all on internet gossip.
It's all bullcrap. I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all to... I don't even know what to say.
He even went after folks online, saying stuff like, all y'all sharing this mess around the internet, listening to what they're saying, you're all part of the problem. In the same strain, he went on to vent, claiming the feds were dragging in people he barely even knew. What they gonna say, he asked. You're ruining people's lives.
And then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? That's a built-in liar right there.
Tony Yayo's interview on VLADTV. So with all the buzz around Big U's arrest, Tony Yayo pulled up on VLADTV to talk about it, and the convo got real. Him and DJ Vlad got into the whole situation, especially the whole checking in debate, which has always been a hot topic in hip-hop culture. Basically, it's that street rule where when an artist pulls up to a city, especially one with heavy gang presence, they're expected to check in with the local crew to make sure everything stays cool. Tony Yayo made it clear G-Unit never played that game. He said they didn't check in when they traveled to different states because they didn't want to get caught up in anyone's drama, possible illegal activity, or even extortion. According to him, G-Unit moved with a militant mindset, locked in on security and staying out of mess. And honestly, the way he broke it down, checking in might cause more problems than it solves.
We've been coming to LA since 204, 205, and like, ain't never check in to nobody.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Just go to their hotel and move militant.
QUANDO Rondo's attack. Now, this isn't just about Tony and G-Unit. The whole idea of checking in hits different when you look at what's been going down with Big U and the Rollin 60s. Take QUANDO Rondo, for example. When he came to LA and didn't check in, his crew got ambushed. That attack led to the tragic death of his close friend and cousin, Lil Pab. And here's where it gets wild. Big U kinda low-key implicated himself on the Breakfast Club. He mentioned QUANDO never checked in before that whole thing went down, and in that world, that's a big red flag.
But they don't really with us until it's a problem. Then they call him. Like QUANDO Rondo. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't with me before that.
Some folks even think Big U was hinting he knew something was coming, but just didn't step in, and now people are saying that might have been him admitting to extortion out loud on a public platform, which, considering everything going on with this case right now, definitely isn't helping his situation. But here's where things get even deeper. Big U's involvement with Nipsey. There was a long-standing tension between Big U and Nipsey Hussle, and some people believe that beef played a role in Nipsey's death. This wasn't random either. If you rewind back to 2011, things were already shaky. There was that infamous incident near Crenshaw and Slauson, where Nipsey and Big U allegedly got into a heated argument behind a Shell gas station in Hyde Park. Words turned into a scuffle, and Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, ended up firing a gun in the air, probably just trying to de-escalate. But before anything could process what just happened, LAPD showed up and one of the cops fired at Black Sam. Missed, but still chaotic. That moment was enough for people to realize something serious was brewing between Big U and Nipsey. Then you throw in label drama and money issues, and it just got uglier. Word on the street was that Big U was trying to put pressure on Nipsey financially, and Nipsey wasn't with it. That led to a full fallout and eventually a diss track that pretty much closed the door on any type of reconciliation.
And I'm gonna stop for you. I built this on my own and everybody know it's true.
From that point on, it felt like Big U never missed a chance to apply pressure on Nipsey. There were stories floating around, like how he supposedly sent some of his people to press Nipsey when DJ Khaled pulled up to the neighborhood.
But there was a lot of big politics getting into with certain people. You know, Hustle had DJ Khaled in the hood, and Hustle frontline that. And you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
And then came the moment that shook everything. Nipsey Hussle was killed by Eric Holder, a known Rollin 60s member.
The jury in the above entitled action find the defendant, Eric Ronald Holder Jr., guilty of the crime of first-degree murder.
That alone got the streets buzzing. Some folks started speculating heavy, saying Big U might have played a part, maybe even called the hit. Whether that's true or not, no one knows for sure, but the talk never died down. And sadly, it didn't stop there. Even after Nipsey's death, it feels like the Rollin 60s never really let up on his family. A recent video going around shows what looks like gang members robbing Nipsey and Black Sam's dispensary on 4th Avenue. In the footage, one of the guys comes in acting cool, like he's just there to shop or something, but then out of nowhere, another guy slides in and pulls a gun on the attendant. That clip just adds more fuel to the fire around Big U's name. Whether he's directly involved or not, people are connecting the dots. And honestly, this new case might be what finally brings everything to light or closes the chapter for good. But here's another piece of the puzzle. Big U hasn't exactly been quiet about his stance. He's been super vocal about rappers needing to check in when they come into certain cities. He said it in interviews, on podcasts, you name it. He's made it very clear where he stands.
But other dudes do got to. And I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just imagine this though. If another crew pull up in you guys' area and they ain't checked in with none of y'all, you gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah, 100%.
There's even clips of him warning about what could happen to folks who don't check in, and that sparked a whole lot of conversation. Some are asking, are all these robberies, assaults, and even deaths of rappers who refuse to check in somehow linked to that mindset?
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in, oh well, check your out. We're gonna check you in, all right? We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
Take PNB Rock, for instance. There were rumors swirling that Big U might have had a hand in what happened to him during that robbery in LA. And when Big U was asked about it in an interview, he didn't exactly deny anything. Instead, he said he always checks in when he travels and kinda implied PNB should have done the same.
You know, we in LA, when I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago. Wholeheartedly, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
As of now, Big U's trial date still hasn't been set, but his next court appearances are an arraignment on April 8th and a detention hearing on April 10th.